Ready?
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Okay, so I have a conundrum. I have a SoulCalibur conundrum. My SoulCalibur conundrum is this. Also, I've wanted to make a video about anxiety because I've been going through it a lot recently. I've had it all my life, as far as back as I can remember anyway, and depression, of course. But like recently it's been bad, and in a way that I'm very worried about, not in terms of my own, like, you know, safety or anything, but I'm gonna make a video about that is what I'm trying to say, and I'll talk about that in more depth later. Everything is fine, I'm okay, but I just worry a lot, and I wanted to sort of put that out there. Maybe I can help someone who's also going through the same thing. Not that I have any answers or anything, but, you know, might be helpful. Anyway, about SoulCalibur, which is way more important than my depression. SoulCalibur 6 is coming out this Friday. Now, I wish games came out on Tuesday again like they used to, because then I would be able to get it tomorrow. But unfortunately, that's not the case. It's coming out on Friday, and here's my predicament. My predicament is, I promised a SoulCalibur storyline with original characters from SoulCalibur 5. I hadn't predicted at the time when I made that promise that SoulCalibur 6 was going to come out. Now that it is going to come out and it's literally less than a week away, I haven't released that new story yet. I had the War of the Wise Men going on, but I didn't like it. I eventually scrapped it after it was 2 parts. It was sort of like Naruto. It was like the younger part and then the older part. I had it in 2 parts. I think I finished the entirety of part 1, then I made like an OVA, which is a movie, and it went on for like an hour and something minutes. And then I was going to release part 2, but then I was looking at the script and I was like, oh, this sucks. This is really bad, and I don't like it. So I scrapped it. So then I started writing a new storyline, and I really like it. I really, really like this new storyline. I like the new characters. I'm featuring some of the older characters too. And I think it's a lot really good. My predicament is, well, there's several things actually. My hard drive crashed a while back, and I've been backing up my stories now recently by emailing them to myself because I have an external hard drive, but like to plug it in every time and back up the folder every time manually, it's just such a hassle to do it every single time I make a change to a story. So it's just so much easier to email it to myself every day. So the 2 stories I've been working on have been a personal story that I'm going to release in another short story collection. I already released 1 short story collection called The Colorful Conscience. I want to rewrite that actually. I'm a very depressed and low artist with a low self-esteem. I just never think I'm good enough. So when I release something, I look at it and I'm like, it sucks. I need to make something better. So I'm going to rewrite The Colorful Conscience at some point in my life. But I'm working on another short story collection now, and I've finished 1 story for it, and I'm finishing another story as we speak. Not finishing it as we speak. I'm still writing it as we speak, and it's getting close to the end. And that's really what I'm putting my heart and soul into. But I finally, after the SoulCalibur 6 beta came out, I started rewriting the SoulCalibur 5 storyline that I was making after my hard drive crashed, because I didn't save that one. That one I got lost. I lost everything that I was writing on it. And I was like really pretty far into, I want to say about 60 pages maybe. And that was all gone after the hard drive crash. So I finally started rewriting that because playing the SoulCalibur 6 beta sort of reinvigorated me. But even then, it only came out like a month ago maybe, and that doesn't give me enough time to finish writing an entire story in a month. So that's predicament number 1, is that the script is not done, but I want to get something out to you guys. But I'm afraid that if I start making episodes now, that I'm going to change something in the story or in the lore or something like that later on, and it's not going to make sense, and it's going to be really dumb, and it's going to be like, I'm going to be retconning it as I go along, and I don't want to do that. I'm not a very, I don't begin with the end in mind when I make a lot of stories. I sort of figure out the story as I go along. It's more fun that way for me, and I'm just not very good at forward thinking or planning. Sometimes I'll have the ending in mind, but like every step I take to get to there is sort of up in the air. I don't know how it's going to turn out, and a lot of times the ending ends up changing when I finally get to it. So that's predicament number one, is that the script is not yet done, and I don't want to put out episodes before I know that the story is complete and it makes sense. It is, I want to say at this point, I would say it's about 40% done. I've been trying to speed my way through it. And that brings me to predicament number two, which is that this story is already, it's already lacking. And I know that as a writer. I know that the story is not as good as that could make it. Part of the reason for that is not because I'm a hack or anything that just wants to put out whatever. Part of the reason for that is, A, the hard drive crash. I had to rewrite a lot of stuff, and I don't quite remember how a lot of things fit in. Plus, I added some new characters after the hard drive crash, so I'm trying to fit them into the story somehow, and trying to remember where certain characters were during certain moments, and I'm having trouble picturing everything all together. And again, I've been trying to do it in a timelier fashion, so it's sort of hard to force myself to remember, oh yeah, this character is definitely supposed to be here, but then wait a minute, why are they there when this character's doing this or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So that's been difficult. But it's also lacking because of how I'm presenting it. And I feel like it's kind of hard to explain. Basically, I like voice acting. That's something I wanted to do when I was younger, is I wanted to be a voice actor. But like, to be an actor and to be a voice actor, you sort of have to grow up doing that, I feel like. And I just never did. My mom never put me in any, like, any commercials or anything like that. I never had an agent. And maybe that's something I could get into eventually, but I really just don't think I'm as good as a lot of voice actors out there. But it's something I've always wanted to do. It's something I've always been interested in. I still, as interested as I am in voice acting, I am only one person, and again, I'm not that good. So I can make maybe like 4 voices that sound relatively similar to each other. But there's a lot of female characters in this. There's a lot of like sort of different male characters in it, and it's harder with a drama than a comedy, because with a drama you have to take the voices seriously and actually portray them like in a serious way. In a comedy, you can sort of make whatever weird voice you want, and as long as it's funny, it works, right? But so, and this is a drama. I'm trying to make it more lighthearted than the War of the Wise Men was. But this one, it is a drama. It's supposed to be taken seriously. And it's difficult. I was trying to get around the fact that I only have one voice, basically. And I don't have the money to pay voice actors. And I don't want to go around asking voice actors to do this for free, even though I'm eventually going to put it up on YouTube for free. But I don't want to go around asking voice actors to do it for free, because it is a big script, and it's a lot of work, and I really don't know people who would want to do that out of the kindness of their heart. And I would feel bad, honestly, if I wasn't paying them for it. So that's my problem number 2. So the way I've been writing the script has been as a story. And I was going to... I didn't do this at first with the original script before the hard drive crash, but I was going to do it with this one, where it's more of a narrator telling the story. And I sort of had the War of the Wise Men like that when I first started doing that one. But I realized as I was writing along, it's just the characters don't come out as much if I don't have dialogue. I can have the narrator explaining what they're doing to a T, but it doesn't work as well if you don't have characters saying what they're feeling, or not saying exactly what they're feeling. Like, I'm sad! But if you have characters, saying, how, having characters relate to other characters with their words. It's already sort of a shortcoming of the way I'm doing this, which is that I'm using SoulCalibur entirely, so there have to be fights in the story, otherwise it's going to be boring as shit. And there are long stretches where there aren't any fights mainly because I didn't want to force something in there where it doesn't belong, because I feel like that would make it hard to take the story seriously. But there have to be fights, so I have to put fights in the script. But then also, the characters, you can't see them move normally. I can't animate. I don't know how to do any of that. What I'm doing, basically, what I'm going to do anyway, is I created the characters, but the way that I use the mods on the Xbox 360, I can't go into the character creator and view the characters there. Otherwise, all the changes I made to them are going to revert. All the changes using the mods I made anyway. So I have to go into a battle and do it that way. And I figured out a system where I could make them choose a certain voice for them and a certain battle style. And then I'll get a pretty good sort of close-up of them that I can use for their character sprite, essentially. And that character sprite or avatar or whatever you want to call it, I'm going to use, and it's going to have different emotions and blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to reach out to Violent Vodka because his his trainer is what I've been using, or his save editor, rather, is what I've been using. But the recent update doesn't quite work. So I've been trying to reach out to him, but I haven't been able to get in touch with him. So I'm going to keep trying that. It would really make it more helpful if I could get him to tell me how to make the last update work. Yeah, so I have that system in place, but still, it's only a character icon. It's not like a fully animated character with like facial expressions and all this stuff. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to do that. So on that level, the story is already, working uphill. Then the fact that I don't have voice actors to do this, it's just going to be me, which is already cringy, but like beyond that, I'm not really worried about that. I'm just worried that it's not going to be convincing and it's not going to be enough. And so I maybe I will have to like eventually search up some voice actors, because I can hear a lot of these characters' voices and I just wouldn't be able to do them justice, especially since the two main characters are women. Hashtag social justice warrior, blah, 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 whatever. That's shortcoming number 2. Shortcoming number 3, again, is that I had to put a lot of fights in it because it's a SoulCalibur thing, and I love the fights. I think they're going to be really cool. They're going to be CPU versus CPU on the hardest difficulty, and they pull off some really cool combos and shit, and I really like watching it. And what I'm going to do with this one that I didn't really do with War of the Wise Men is I'm going to have different takes, basically, of each fight. So I'm going to play through each fight multiple times. And I wish in SoulCalibur 5 you could set parameters and stuff like that, because it would, like you could in SoulCalibur 4, because it would make it a lot easier or a lot better and a lot more interesting. But can't do that. But I'm going to have multiple takes of each fight and basically choose the best fight and use that one for the story. I think that's what I'm going to do. And, yeah, so there have to be fights, but there are long stretches where there aren't any fights. And another thing with just something that I'm a little insecure about is that because of how SoulCalibur is, they're fighting with swords. But I can't have a character die every time they fight. So there's a lot of times where, they have a sword fight and then a character gets back up afterward and you're like, I would think that some people would be like, oh, what the fuck? How come no one's dying? But it's really, maybe I'm just thinking too much about it. Maybe people won't even be worried about that. But it's just something, I felt like I had to address, because there are sword fighting and there are fights, and there are a lot of fights where it's enemy versus enemy and they don't kill each other outright. Just because of the nature of how SoulCalibur is. If it was like a Tekken story, like, I would be able to do that and it wouldn't be such a big deal, because they're not going to kill each other outright with their fists. But, in a SoulCalibur story, I feel like it's a bit more of a big deal. In the last conundrum is that SoulCalibur 6 is coming out, and I'm going to want to be playing that and using the character creator on that. However, I feel like that sort of solves itself, because I can make a series out of Chronicles of the Sword, or Libra of Souls, rather. I can also make a series out of, some ranked matches. So I don't have to worry about that so much. And whenever I'm done with War of the Wise Men, I can move on to SoulCalibur 6 to make a story specifically for that. And I plan to get it for PC as well as PS4, so I'm going to get mods on the PC so I can do some interesting stuff with Create a Soul. Hopefully, the mods are really good. I don't know how to mod shit. I don't know how to code for my life. But hopefully some, geniuses out there will make some really cool trainer or something to have people make these crazy-ass fucking characters, because that would be really cool. Using the mods on SoulCalibur 5 has been a fucking cool experience. I love it. You can really make some weird shit. And I just wish it had more clothes in it, because the game was cut short in terms of DLC, so there's a lot of stuff that should have been in the game that wasn't, and I can't use it. But anyway, there's that. And yeah, so I think that last problem, the fact that SoulCalibur 6 is right around the corner, I think that solves itself, especially since I'm not going to have all the equipment unlocked right from the get-go, and I'm not going to have all the styles unlocked right from the get-go, because there are going to be DLC characters. Still mad about Tira, by the way. But I think that once all the characters are out, and once I've unlocked all the equipment and all the new equipment sets are out, I can make some interesting characters. Shut up, computer. And do the specific story for that. Anyway, I would have to write a new script for that anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I think I'm just going to finish SoulCalibur 5. I don't have a name for it yet. I think I'm going to call it the Immortal Soul, which was a technique in War of the Wise Men that basically made someone immortal. In this story, I can spoil this a little bit, because I don't think it matters all that much. In this story, I mean, it does matter, but I don't think it matters if I spoil it, because it's explained sort of from the beginning. Basically, two individuals can be bound to one another with this technique called the Immortal Soul. One individual is the catalyst, and the other one is the host. Basically, the catalyst is the one that's immortal, and the host is the one that is sort of gives their life energy to the catalyst in order to keep them alive. So the catalyst cannot die until the host is killed. So that's how it works. And so I think it creates an interesting dynamic, especially with the main villain of the story. And the main characters. And I really hope you guys like it. I'm going to look into some more. Let me know if you guys have any resources that I can tap into, maybe some free voice acting, like a website where people do voice acting for free or something like that. Because I really don't have the money to pay people, and I wish I did. If I had like a Patreon or something, I would set one up and use that money to pay voice actors, but I don't, and I can't. Because just sheer logistics, I don't have a big enough following. Is that logistics? I don't know. But anyway, if you guys know of any resources, shut up, computer. If you know of any resources I can use to get like some free voice actors, maybe people who would want to do it, excuse me, people who would want to do it, out of the kindness of their heart. Maybe even some people who might want to do animation. I don't know. Would that be asking for too much? I would feel really bad if I couldn't pay them. But let me know. Who knows? There might be some people who are willing to do it just as a fun project. And I hope they enjoy the script as much as I do. Until then, I'm going to try to figure out these problems on my own. I'll try a few rounds of voice acting myself and see if I feel convinced by it, see if I feel satisfied by it. If not, then I may have to look more deeply into this, getting other people to voice act. And I'll voice act some of the characters myself, but for especially for the female characters and for some of the other male characters, I would want other people to do it because I just can't do it justice on my own. That said, thank you guys for watching. This has been Ragtime Revived with another Ragtime. Sort of just kind of spitballed this one. My last two videos I wrote a script for. This one I did not write a script for. Though this is a Ragtime anyway, I wouldn't write a script for a Ragtime. But, yeah. Did I write a script for the SoulCalibur 6 beta video? I think I did. I think I did write a script for that. Anyway. More videos to come. I'm editing a BioShock video. I think that's gonna be pretty funny. I haven't started editing it actually, but I just beat the game. And there were some really good moments in that, so I think I'm gonna start editing that one. SoulCalibur 6 is right around the corner. I'm really excited about that. I am waiting to get my graphics card back from Cyberpower PC. FedEx fucked up. I shipped it into them because it my graphics card overheated, I think, and it was going to it was having some like graphical issues, and especially in The Witcher when I was playing it. So I was like, oh, it's still under warranty. Let me send in the card and get a new one. And I like told them what happened, and they said like send it in. So I sent it in. FedEx fucked it up, and it got broken in shipment. So FedEx actually had to pay me back, and now Cyberpower is sending me the graphics card back, the original one. Hopefully it's not so broken that I can still use it, because I really don't want to spend $200 on a new one. But especially since, honestly, I just have no idea. I'm not a PC gamer, and like I bought a gaming PC because I wanted to get into that, but still, I have no fucking clue what any of this stuff does. Like, you go to search for someone who's been a console gamer their entire life, and you're just starting to get into PC gaming. You go to search for a graphics card, and there are like 50,000 different kinds of graphics card with slight variations in their names, and no real way of knowing how they'll work on your favorite games. So it's like, oh, this one sounds like it's really good, but then you try to play something like fucking Grand Theft Auto 5, and it's like, oh, lagging and shit, and the frame rate sucks, and you're like, what the hell? And it's like, not only like you can't just upgrade the graphics card either. You got to upgrade the power supply and all that. It's just so complicated, and I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm just saying things now. What should I title this video? Shit that's been on my mind. I'm gonna name it SoulCalibur Conundrums, because that's what it is. It's about. It's a little misleading, I guess, because it's not about SoulCalibur 6. It's not like I'm saying SoulCalibur 6 Conundrums or anything. It's not clickbait, is it? I don't know. You guys tell me. Comment down below if it's clickbait. Anyway, have a good one. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Ready?